everybody. My name is Christine with the Co-Living Code. Today I have Rod Cook on. He is actually out in France, so this will be fun to speak with somebody that actually has a co-living concept out there. It's called the Co-Living Province, and it sits underneath retreats.io. That's another company he started a while back. He's going to talk about both. And then the third thing is we're just launching, I know he'll go into more detail, is the first actual non-for-profit association for the co-living industry called the Co-Living Hub, which I am excited to be a board member of, very excited. This industry desperately needs an association and a group of passionate individuals that want to take co-living to the next level. So here we go. We'll go ahead and get started with Rod, and I'll let you explain more about yourself and how you got started.
Okay, well, it's a very simple but long history. I've actually been a nomad since the age of 19 years old. And if you look at this face, it's not 19 anymore.
That is a long time.
But I'm not going to tell you my age, but I feel 19 still. And I've been running holiday rentals, actually, in Provence for quite some time, since 2000. And I decided that really that wasn't anymore where I wanted to go. And I wanted to open it up to a new marketplace, which was basically co-living. And I wanted to know everything about nomads, that I discovered that that's what I had been since 19 years old. So this is what I've done. And it's such a vibrant market. I mean, there's so many amazing people in it with great brains, great enthusiasm, who want to change the world. They want to live a different life, because co-living is all about caring and sharing, much more than work and play, because you do that all the time.
Yeah, and definitely I failed to mention that. So you've lived, because I know it's in your bio, but I want you to talk about, so you've actually lived in 47 different countries, right? Already, at least?
Yes, I've lived and worked in 47 countries, but actually I started off from birth. I was born in Bangkok in Thailand, and ever since then I've been traveling. So my family moved a lot, and the only reason why I have such a good English accent is because my father insisted that I was educated in England.
Oh, good. That probably helped, right?
Well, yeah, he insisted, basically. He said that you have to have an English education, otherwise, it's no good.
And then at your current location there, how many people can stay at a time?
Here, we're a very small outfit. It's kind of quite exclusive, actually, because we're on top of a little hill in Provence, in Haute-Provence, which is a very famous part of France. And it's completely in the middle of nowhere. In fact, it's so much in the middle of nowhere, you have to take a 4x4 and you have to go 10 minutes down a track, which you bump down. And that's how you get here. You can't come in a normal car. You could try walking, and you could try a horse, but you have to come in a 4x4. And when you get here, you're totally immersed into nature. It's more like a retreat. That's why, retreats goes well with that. You detox, you get into work, you meet the people there. Most people who come here have been actually around the nomad world for 3, 4, 5, 6 years already. So they understand the whole concept. And they actually wanted to get a little bit away from the buzz of the city and the buzz of parties and what have you. And they just want to kind of concentrate on a bit of work, revitalize themselves, and then get ready for their next trip.
Nice. And then we were talking before we started this interview that you're really active in the Nomad community. You've been on the Nomad cruise. You're about to go on the next one. So talk about just your experiences with that.
Well, it's an amazing experience, and I would recommend it to absolutely everybody. Right? First of all, Nomad Cruise is a very vibrant whole community. You spend about 13 days, some a little bit less, with a bunch of people. Like the next one I'm going on is to Brazil, and there's going to be 500 people there. All right? And you will get the top brains in the new efforts on how to change the world right there in front of you. And you'll learn how they live their lives, how they've made money, how they want to change the world. You get people that have had super jobs like Goldman Sachs, like, you know, the top companies. And they just said, this is no more for me. And they've gone out and changed their lives. And they're now telling everybody else how to change their lives. They're going away from the me, I must have, and they're sharing everything. And this is like super. And a little tip, if you ever go on one of these cruises, you have to stay after. Because I made that first mistake on the first cruise I went. Because the month after, you kind of really connect in a much deeper way with all the people on the cruises because you're a much smaller number.
No, and everybody says the exact same thing. That's not the first time I've heard that advice. That's great advice for anybody contemplating going on a Nomad cruise, is that then, yeah, once the boat docks, to try to stay in that area with them for like a month. So yeah, most people plan their travel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay in Brazil in the next one until January. I'm going to go and watch the fireworks in Rio. I really want to do that. 2 million people go and watch the fireworks. But more important, co-living, you know, get back to co-living, is now exploding around the world. All right. So people putting up places all around the world. So imagine in every stop that a boat goes to, you can then have the choice to go to really good co-living places as well, where you have the same sort of inspiration, the same sort of caring and sharing. It's not Airbnb, it's not hostel, not hotel. Go into the same thing, much smaller, more intimate, reconnect with other people, or take people that you already connected with, which is good.
I love that. And then let's talk about this, because you have so much experience in this industry, which is exciting, you know, to be able to talk to you. What are your thoughts between these concepts, you know, kind of like yours and mine, which are smaller? You know, these are single family homes, large homes, but, you know, that don't house a ton of people, like a We Live or Common Living or the Collective over in Europe. You know, do you still feel like you can have that same sense of community with like-minded people in a bigger co-living concept than you can with a smaller one?
Well, I would say, actually, if the people's minds are in the right place, you can have the concept in any number. I'd say there's an ideal number. I mean, you need to have more than 5 people. You know, if you're under 5, then really it's going to be much different. But after that, it's the mindset of the people that you're with. Because if you're only with 4 people or 5 people and your mindset is the same, you're going to still gain as much as if you're with 15 or 20 people, right? Or 30 or 500. In fact, it's more difficult when you go into a situation like on a Nomad cruise where you're with 500 people, because there's no way you're going to get to know all 500. You're going to maybe get to know 50. So that's why the after is actually so important, right? So in my view, actually, when I say caring and sharing is the key to everything to do with co-living in general and co-working, co-anything. Because it's that connection that makes the difference between, you know, sharing with your workmates in some office. Now, most of them are saying, you know, I'm going to take my job, or, I'm bored, what have you. It's that inspiration and energy that everybody gives you because of their experiences, whatever their age, doesn't matter. You can be 22 and give as much energy and inspiration as you can, you know, this kind of guy.
No, but this is exciting because we have people of all ages watching this show and listening. And, you know, sometimes they say like, oh, I'm too old, or, you know, it's a bunch of 20-something-year-olds. And that's not true at all, right? There's all ages that are changing.
Absolutely not true. Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, sorry for breaking in there. Sorry to break in there. That is absolutely not true, because, you know, one thing, as you get a little bit older, I like to term it like that, a little bit older, you have a little bit more experience. So therefore, the younger ages can come along and say, well, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? And you can exchange knowledge. And this is really where there is a dynamite sort of connection. I met on the last Nomad cruise a woman called Margaret Manning, who specialized in teaching women over 60 that they still had a place in this world. right? And she has over 1 million YouTube visitors and viewers, right?
That is so
And she
cool.
has so much energy. She had, you know, answers for virtually everything. And there are other people out there that can do that for men, you know, men over 60. It really is about energy. It's not at all about age.
Oh, I agree 110%. I always say age is just a number. Age is just a number. So that's good. That's perfect because that's inspiring again for people that are just done with, you know, the common way of living and having a dead end job for however many years and waiting, just praying for retirement and not living their life right now, right? So what is your favorite part of running a co-living home?
The people. Simple. Absolutely simple. The people. You
And
know,
what's
there
the
is a
average,
challenge.
yeah, what's the
Sorry?
average stay on at your home? What's the average stay?
Okay, well, it's working out between 2 weeks and 6 weeks, actually. Because I don't know how many of your viewers are actually co-living owners or what have you, or co-living people. And so that's a bit of information I still have to kind of work out with you. But generally speaking, you know, if you get the right buzz and you have the right place, people will stay with you for a year, right? But you have to have all those right things. The other thing is that most of the people that come to my place, because it's much more seasoned and it's a little, you know, I've got to admit it, it's a little bit elitist. They come because they've already been round the world several times or many places, and they've been doing that for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So they're looking for stability, actually. And this is one of the things we're trying to do with Co-Living Hub, is link together loads of different places that are really good destinations. And you can go there and you can call this place a comfortable home that you know you can come back to. And that is one of the most important things.
No, I love that. And Rod, let's kind of dive in a little bit more on why you say your place is more of like an elitist place. Is it because of the location? Is it because of the pricing? Are you offering higher amenities?
It's because of the location. We are really in the middle of nowhere. Okay? And so therefore, the sort of clientele that I've had in the past is actually higher level management, professors, doctors, brain surgeons, this sort of thing. Not the level, but that sort of area. And people come here because they want a resource. You know, they want to get away from everything, and it's not the typical sort of holiday destination. And they want to kind of reconnect with nature, right? And that's really what you have out here. And that is a very interesting thing because, you know, you can go to lots of places and you can say, this is a special place because it's beautiful and this and that. But how many chances do you have actually to feel that actually you're refreshed when you go away? And you're not necessarily going to a yoga specialist place, even though people do yoga here. It's just this kind of cut off from the rest of the world. And yeah, that's what we do here.
And then do you curate specific guests to stay at the same time at all? Because in my head, I'm still trying to imagine, you know, if you have surgeons there and then maybe you have this 19-year-old who's, you know, maybe they're just roaming around and they're used to staying at hostels. I don't know, you know, or is it just a super diverse group of individuals that stay?
Absolutely not. I've taken a sort of tip of another company, which is called Sun & Co. in Spain.
Yeah.
And they have a hostel. Okay, well, they have a hostel, very successful hostel. And in our discussions on Co-Living Hub, they said, well, you know, we're a business. And so therefore, we say we designate this amount of time in the beginning of the year to co-livers. Then we turn it into a hostel and we designate in the summer months it as a hostel. And then we then turn it again back into a co-living place at the end of the year. Because at the end of the day, we've got to live. You know, we've got properties to function, we've got rates to pay, taxes to pay. And so therefore, until there's a complete flow, and I'm looking for, in my particular case, 8 months of the year where there'll be a complete co-living system, I have to pay the bills. I'll be really honest. And so in the summer, I still have holiday rentals because everybody's climbing over themselves to come and stay here. So that's not the money. The rest of the time, I can then open it out for when we can then share this experience here that most people cannot afford to share to come here. And so I turn it into co-living.
On the slower time of your year, right?
I call them shoulder periods.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Got it. I've heard that term before.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. And
it seems to work. Yeah. So anybody setting up a co-living house, I'll come out straight away with a tip. Doing this business is about actually providing a service, right? And hospitality. Ultimately, if anybody's actually going to want to get into this business, it's about property. And it's the property that will provide the value at the end of the day. The service provides the reason for the property to exist.
Got it. No, that makes sense. And then definitely let's chat about Co-Living Hub and when you started that, what made you start, obviously you talked a little bit about why you wanted to start it, but let's go into detail about how long ago you started, formulating the idea of the non-for-profit.
Okay. Well, actually it was due to a chance meeting online with nomads around the world and one guy called Kndrd Ross. And we started talking about the possibilities of buying a chateau in France, and wouldn't it be great to kind of do that? And I already had my place running, and he already had his place running in Bali. And from that, we said, we just got to get some more people together, and then we'll work out these problems and talk about it. So Maria from Restation was invited in by Karen, and I suggested bringing in Haz and Fanny from Swiss Escapes, who I'd already been talking to as well. So automatically we had 4 people. And from this little core, everything has grown. Like all new ventures, has its ups and downs and ups and downs. But we then had a meeting in Serbia earlier this year in April. And by then we had doubled again. So there was another 6. We were now 6 people, including Welcome House, which is in Serbia, which he was a host, Coco Hub, and Lunar Blue Retreats, right? And from that, I said, right, okay, we're going to actually function as a group together, and we should make an NGO. So that started off the whole process, and then we added more people, and this included Sundesk and Sun & Co, and also Coco Nat in Germany. So there's 10. Well, actually, now you also are in there as well, which we're very proud for you to do. And we would like this to be open to everybody, right? Because it's all about sharing and caring. This is not about my business, my profit only, my clients. It's about our business, our clients, our sharing and caring, and the whole effort to do with that. So we envisioned that this association will become globally open to everybody and anybody who wants to be in the co-living sector. And I personally believe that we should actually involve all the other sectors as well, like co-working and Nomad Cruise and Web Summit and DNX and what have you. Ultimately, we should work all together as an industry because we're actually seeing a birthing of an industry, right? And that is so important. And it's so important that we work together and not against each other.
And then that birthing of an industry is the industry of co-living, or are you saying digital nomads? Or because there's so many.
The whole thing. Because the concept is very simple. People do not want to work in boxes anymore. People do not want to designate their entire lives and die before they maybe can visit the rest of the world. People want to have that independence. People want to construct and dictate their own lives. People want to meet other people with the same ideas. People want to share. People want to have experiences together. And they each have something to give to somebody else. Now, this is what I think is the most important part of it, because the world in my opinion, we became me. What co-living and everything to do with the nomad world offers us is that we learn to become us again rather than me, because our entire lives can then be helped by other people, whatever age, whatever background, whatever tree, whatever. We can make something that is actually good for all of us.
I love that. That's perfect. And that leads right into, and you kind of answered it already a little bit, but maybe you can elaborate. My last question is, like, where do you see the future of co-living? Like, where do you think we're at right now, and where do you think the future is?
I think it, as I said, it's a birthing of an industry. I think you'll find that everywhere in the world, once the people who get into it understand that the basic is about community, not about money. Obviously, we'll all make some money because otherwise it won't. But it's not about money. It's about actually having a system which caters for people's individuality and freedom, right? So they can choose, come stay with me for a month or 2 weeks, 2 months, go somewhere else. I mean, who wouldn't want to come, you know, let's just answer the obvious question. I'm sitting in Provence, one of the most famous places in France, okay, where every artist in the world has dominated and been here. So you come here, enjoy this period of life. We're in September. It's really wonderful. It's 30 degrees outside. So afterwards, after a while, you can go to Haz and Fanny in Swiss Escape and go skiing and stay there for a month or two. And then you say, well, actually, my tan's slipping. We'll go to Reef Station in the Canaries, and I'll go back down to the beach and get a tan. Right? And imagine how many other places we can go on, because from the Canaries you can hop on the Nomad cruise and then you can go to Brazil, right? And then we'll have some nice place to go to in Brazil, or we'll have some nice place to go to, you know, Wissera. And imagine everything is connected. And so you can just spend the entire year going to all the best places and doing everything you want and make money at the same time.
Love that. No, and that's so sorry. That was another question I had earlier is what technology, because, you know, we're working on our platform like feverishly because I just want to use my phone and I, like you just said, okay, I want to jump to Canary Islands on this day. What house can I stay at? Who's staying there that same time? Like this is the app and the software that we're really working on building, and mainly the management software to power these houses. So what current, like, how do you manage your house? What are you guys using? Are you using Google spreadsheets? Are you, I've seen everything across the board. So I'm just curious. Are you using pen and paper? I don't know.
Well, you're curious. Okay. Well, okay. So as I said, this is a birthing industry. We actually still need very, very heavily some sort of networking software that will put it all together. And it doesn't exist at the moment. So we're kind of all using either services or using things like Google Calendar, etc. Yes, that still needs to be done, right? And I'm sure you've got ideas of this, and I happen to know one particular person who runs Cocoa Hub in Malta, who's got some specific ideas of how it can be done. But you need some really heavy gauge sort of programmers to really put it all together.
Oh yeah, we know. Which we're excited. We're super excited to talk about. I was waiting for
it's not only, yeah, it's not only the bookings of our place, for instance, your place or wherever. It's also when is the best time to buy a ticket? How do you get to the next place? You know, these are vital questions because you're not going to buy price tickets from even our low-cost airlines like EasyJet and Ryan. You don't want their prices, you want their off-season prices. So it's planning. It's all to do with planning.
No, you're right. Because all of it integrates, right? It's the travel, it's the jump.
Yeah, it all integrates.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because everybody's got a budget. You know, from the starters to the season to the, you know, higher up. You know, everybody's got a budget. So they're going to say, you know, where am I going to go to next? How much is it going to cost me to go there? What's the cost of living when you get there? Can I afford it? Can't I? In my budget. And that's key.
Yep. all that fun stuff. Well, awesome, Rod. Thank you so much for taking the time for me to jump on this interview. I know you were telling me it's past your bedtime over there in France, like 11.
Well, I'll be up most of the night now. You know, I had at least 3 days before I came to this class, but very interested to do it. Thank you very much, too.
No, thanks again. We'll have all your contact information listed below on the show notes. And thanks again. Have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you. Bye.